All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Minute with Stony Stone, and my co-host
Darren was Sift, not
was
Swift.
Sift. You know, Team Sift. I think there's going to be like a cuss jar every time I say the wrong word, the SWIFT. I owe you $1 or something. I don't know. So I don't know if I can afford that, but I'll try to do better.
I like it.
It's the theme of our show is just do better. I actually wrote it down. Just do better. Speaking of doing better, a few things before we get into stuff. We have hitting the internet, hitting the web right now is Folsom Lake is fallen to the mussel thing. I don't know if you want to call it the mussel pandemic, but a bunch of shit with the mussels going on, and they're shutting down Folsom from April 14th to May 14th so they can put in some stations and you're married to that lake. So if you're fishing Folsom, you're there for 30 days, or you're quarantined and not being able to go anywhere else, or putting a little strap on like they're doing a lot of the other lakes.
Yeah,
A strap on.
a little strap on.
Not a strap on, but the little cable. Safety meeting was good today, but a cable.
But they did say they're exploring options of that same quarantine seal being accepted at other lakes.
Okay.
That was something in the article I did read.
So that's going on.
Into it, but
We have a special guest today. We're supposed to have a special guest. I haven't seen him call online yet. Maybe he's there, but Brandon LeBoy, we will be talking to him a little bit later in the podcast. So stay tuned for that. But we did get a guest. We're going to find out about the other names I always mess up. You got Tule Creek. He's going to like start charging me $1 every time I say Turtle Creek.
Yep.
and it's not. It's Tule Creek. That's every time he says it. Jesus Christ. No, I got it right tonight. Anyway,
I'm proud of you. We're moving up.
Thank you. We're moving up. So Folsom's shutting down with this mussel thing going on. Any of the striper fishermen that are out there, man, it's heating up. You know, I've been in the Delta for a while. They're starting to make their way up the rivers. A lot of the reports I'm seeing and people I talk to, striper fishing is definitely starting to hit off, which I'm kind of glad the catfish tournament is over at the moment, because striper fishing is what we're going to be heading into next and beating up those striper. So along with that is we are starting, and I put it up there on Old Farts Fishing page on Sunday, a new format for our fishing post that kind of shows what we did. It's basically the Old Farts Fishing report. And it's not going to be like what a lot of the guides are doing and talking. We're basically saying, this is where we went this weekend. This is what we fished for, and this is how we did. And Darren's going to provide me some information. Sometimes we're on the same body of water. Sometimes we're on different. So he goes on Saturday, we go on Sunday. So Sunday night, we'll give you kind of a fishing report of how we did and see if that applies to whatever you're going to fish for the following weekend, which, if we've already did it, doesn't mean it's going to be there tomorrow.
Exactly.
But there are other guys giving fishing reports, like Kevin Brock. If you go to Kevin Brock's page, he's giving you an in-depth fishing report of a lot of different areas, because his network of guides and things he does is a lot bigger. So he gives a full in-depth fishing report on his podcast that is hosted by me on Thursdays. So I got a Monday night podcast with Old Farts Fishing, and then we got a Kevin Brock podcast on Thursdays where we talk about what's going on in Kevin's world. And along with that, he has his own fishing report, and I will be actually filming with Kevin every striper season.
Nice.
So we're building a ton of product, or I should say a ton of content for Kevin to help promote the things like his new shop, the tackle box out in Chico. I don't think you made it out there yet.
Not yet. It's a long drive.
It is a long drive, and trust me, I know. I've been there a few times. But he's got a tackle shop out there, so check them out online if you haven't already. In fact, right here, we have these new hats made just for Kevin, for Chico. He was saying that they're a very proud town, very proud city, so he wanted Chico hats made that say Old Farts Fishing, so those will be exclusive at the tackle box. And along with that, I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to run some hats. Let's go run some new Old Fart Fishing hats. So Old Farts, you can see I got one. These now, I think they're $30.
Nice hats.
But embroidered, that's why they're a little more expensive. That embroidery is not cheap, but $30, and all that money helps fund what you see here, what you see with the Catfish Bash and Catfish Wars and and what have you. And before I get into what everybody's waiting for, which is going to be our special guest, is Catfish Wars. We got a lot of great footage this last event. Filling a few voids of some of the things that Eric needed to get, and so I think we're there, and we're scheduled to do the trailer to come out on Easter,
Nice.
which happens to be 420. So it's just kind of ironic. And I think we're going to release it at 420 on 420.
Perfect.
And it's just because it's Easter. We're very
Yeah.
religious people here.
Exactly.
So that's why we fish
To
on
a
Sunday.
higher being.
To a higher being.
You got to get that tax deduction somehow.
Exactly. So get on the water, do a few prayers, and worship the Anunnaki or whoever else you're going to do. Whoever your God
You
is.
and your fucking Anunnaki, I swear to God.
That's a whole nother thing not related to fishing. But with that, Brandon the boy, is he online here?
Yep, he's on here. Let's
So let's do him a proper
video.
introduction with Brandon, the boy with Tule Creek Outfitters. So Brandon, tell us about what you guys do in Tule Creek.
Well, we do a little bit of everything. Our main forte is bow fishing and waterfowl, and turkey hunts, but we do catfish and crappie as well.
Okay.
We get to do a little bit of everything. That's the nice part about what we do. We're not always stuck in the same place every day.
Okay. How long you guys been doing the guiding thing or your outfitters thing?
This will be our second year in business.
Okay.
Last year we established a lot of good connections with people. We got a lodge up north in Modoc County that we run all our waterfowl stuff up out of, and we got about 10 miles of leases out there that we loaded with geese and duck, and it's a pretty fun experience for people, to be able to come out there, have us cook for you, and we clean for you. We take you out to the blinds, we shuttle you there, we shuttle you back, and decoys are all out and ready, and you guys don't have to do nothing but show up and enjoy the scenery, the trip. You're up in the high mountains over there. Our lodge is actually located in Valle, Nevada, up in outside of Cedarville, and all our hunting takes place back on the California side. And it's about a 15-minute drive down a dirt road. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's great. No cell service, nothing like that.
Do you have to have your own guns to do that, or do you supply all that?
No, bring your own gun, bring your own ammo, and we supply the rest.
Very cool.
Sounds good.
And how much of that do you do compared to fishing?
I don't get up north as much as I like to, as much as my partners do. They spend a lot of time up there. I'm more of just the grunt man that handles the fishing side of it. I do a lot of the bow fishing and a lot of the cat fishing, but my partners, Jake, Adam, and Tyler Hagel, they're the main heads of this, that had this whole idea of Tule Creek and making it something and whatnot. It's just three guys that got together that like to fish and hunt and said, hey, let's make something of it.
That's cool. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I was talking to you a little bit about the bow fishing thing. So kind of go a little bit more in depth on that if you could. I mean, me and my wife are thinking about doing one of your trips, and what all does that entail?
Yeah, so we have day trips available, we got night trips available, we got all day trips available. We'll go have lunch somewhere at Richmond Park, the boathouse, something like that, and then our night trips usually end about 2 a.m. We start firing up around 8 once it gets dark, and fire the lights up, and we give everybody a quick how-to lesson. If you've never shot a bow or anything like that, and we supply all your gear. So the only thing you got to bring is snacks. We got the drinks. We got everything else, just snacks and a fishing license. And we shoot lever bows. So, a lot of people think of a bow of 80 pounds and heavy and hard to pull back all night. But, our strongest bow is probably 45, and they go down to about 20. So we try to make it easy. If you have young kids that want to come out and shoot with us, we try to make it as versatile as possible, especially as far as bow size. A lot of guys are, I've never shot a bow before. I'm kind of worried about trying to aim and how you hit a fish and this and that. But we went to the next step, and we outfit our bows with laser sights. So they help with the light refraction, and they're on a pressure switch. So as soon as you pull the string back, this laser turns on, and all you got to do is let it on the fish and let it eat.
Oh,
And then the arrow does the rest for you. And it's fun. If you guys haven't seen any of our videos, we're on TikTok and Instagram and everything, Tule Creek Hunting Outfitters, and we got a bunch of content on there, kind of what we do and whatnot.
See, this is why I do this. I learned
Yeah.
so much because I thought you guys were just cat fishermen out there, and you named yourself Tule Creek, and I'm like, why are these guys Tule Creek out of catfishing? It doesn't make sense. But as I'm getting to
Catfish
know
is probably
you,
the least of what we do.
oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's why I wanted you on the show is because there's more depth to you than just catfishing tournaments and what I know of you. And it's something that I think, do you got room for, three old farts and an old woman?
Hey, we got room for 5 of them. Let's go.
So
Nice.
I definitely would. I want to talk to Anthony, and I think it'd be kind of cool for maybe Team Sift and Old Farts to get out there and do some
We got to
video.
convince Richard to get out there somehow. Hey, at least he's not
Hey,
saying no. Right on. We're
Yeah.
moving
so
up
Yeah.
there.
so let's definitely set something up and get on your books to get a trip
Yeah,
and
let's
I don't
do it.
want it to just be an empty thing. I want to get with Anthony
Yeah.
here and Darren here in the next couple days and
Yeah,
let's get something on the books.
Yeah. That'd be good fun.
absolutely. This year we're shooting out of a brand new boat due to our boat last year having some factory defects and the hull cracking and whatnot. So in about a week and a half, we should have a brand new boat back, outfitted
Great.
with all brand new lights and new deck and everything. And we're looking forward to a good season. Real quick though, I want to give a huge shout out to Darren and Tamara for making our plaques and awards for our bow fishing tournament coming up. And to Richard, our co-sponsor, without you guys and you guys helping us out, and Snag 'em and Bag 'em and Marlin and all these guys that took time to donate to our event and the bow fishing shop, without you guys, we couldn't do it. So
And that's
we're
and
super
that's
appreciative
important.
of all you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome, and that's cool. So, Darren, I like, that you stepped up and helped them out and did that. And, it's interesting. You start mentioning names of people and things, and it's kind of cool because you're starting to see a common theme. There's some pretty heavy players in the scene. Richard being one of them, right? He's a
Yeah.
big sponsor for the Catfish Bash. He now owns Kings of Clear Lake LLC, and now, I'm hearing he's involved with sponsoring you guys. And so I gotta put my hand out to Richard, man.
Yeah.
He's
He's a busy man.
he's a busy man. He's obviously has some money to spend because
And he's got a passion for it.
he's got a passion, right?
Yeah.
So money,
He's
some
good at what he
passion.
does.
He's
Yes.
benefiting everybody. So just big thank you to Richard. I know that at some point here, him and I will be talking about what we can do to help Kings of Clear Lake. I know we're going to give him a lot of time, as much time as he needs, to get messages out through Old Farts Fishing and see what else he can do that I do with other tournaments as well. But it takes a village, I tell people, to make
Yeah.
all this stuff happen and for it to go off successfully. It definitely takes a lot of key people to pull it off. So,
Yes, it does.
love having you part of the group, and I love to hear about what you do. And we definitely want to get on your boat and do some video and have some good times.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
You got some phone numbers or something you want to throw out, or a web link that we can put when we do post production? I can put that in as well. But how do we
Absolutely.
get a hold of you?
Yeah, I can send you all that over. You guys can get a hold of me directly. We're on Facebook. We got an Instagram page, a TikTok. We have our own website. We're on the Guide Network as well. And everything's all the same. TuleCreekHuntOutfitters.com is how you can find us.
What's a good number to call you at?
707-533-9269.
Very good. Well, I
Very
appreciate
good.
you
Thank
getting
you.
on. We have a very long guest list that we put together that will be coming out. I'll show that at the end of the podcast. But, I think we're booked all the way out till July. There's a lot of people that are wanting to get on the Old Farts fishing train. And with that, I want to jump right into the Catfish Bash. So while I still have you on here, tell me what your team. I'm looking at the standings here. You guys came in 4th place, if I look at this, right? With 11.5 pounds. So it was kind of interesting. We had, I think it was 16 teams that were registered. We had 3 teams that that no-showed, Darren. Darren didn't show up. The Catfish Trackers registered but never paid, never showed up. And then Aaron had some issues with his boat and didn't show up. So you had 3 teams. We appreciate your donation, obviously, because there are no refunds. That's just
No.
fishing, and that's tournaments.
That's how it goes.
how it goes. You either show up or you don't. But I want to kind of go through the standings. We only had 8 people weigh in fish out of the field of 16 that registered with a few no shows. But there's a lot of big names that they got skunked. Well, before I go into the winners, you people that the people that were in there, know who they are. But anybody that's on the podcast that watches this later or isn't really knowing what's going on, is you got like the Bass Lane Bangers came up 0. These guys are pretty big contenders, have done really well, been on the leaderboard, and here they are with no fish. Pandemic Fishing, our big sponsor, right?
Yeah.
No fish. Hook 'em Big Rod, big sponsor, definitely in the scene, usually finishes in the top 5. They do really well. No fish. Fetching the Bite, brand new teams, done 2 tournaments. Both tournaments has gotten skunked.
Ooh.
It's a new team. It's tough, but you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this little segment after the tournament stuff is address some of those things that I'm seeing. Bar S, those guys, a new team. Ben Harper and his team, fished a few tournaments, no fish. Happy Hookers, right? They just had some things, and they've been up there, no fish. So now you go to the leaderboard, Whiskers, which was Jake. I want to say it wrong. Jake's team came in first place, 15.55 pounds. They're normally during the bottom somewhere, right? They don't do well. They did great. Now, a lot of people, they picked that lake so Jake could win. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All I know is that the reason Jake picked that lake when him and I and the rest of his team. Not his team, but his, the tournament team, the people that put on everything, talked about moving it to different lakes. Mendocino came up, one, because it was close to Clear Lake. Yep. We weren't moving it huge, distance away. Yep. So it was somewhat close. And it was a tough lake to fish. Some people know how to fish it, some it's brand new. And the biggest thing was that everybody kept complaining about we're on the same place. So we wanted to try something new. Do it somewhere else to see how it would work. So it worked well. Not for the people fishing that didn't catch any fish, but from a tournament organization and what we put on, I think it was nearly flawless. There was a couple little instances that came up that, we're going to learn from, we're going to address, and we have addressed. But, we're going to continue to strive and do better. Like they said, just do better. Yep. Second place, you got, Snag 'em and Bag 'em team that came in, Kevin Williams, a guide at Clear Lake, right? The guy runs a guide business, and he ended up there. He put in the work. I know they were out there pre-fishing like we were and trying to figure things out. They put the work in, and it paid off. They came in second place. Alley Cats, pretty new team. Haven't been around too long. I don't remember exactly how many teams or how many tournaments. I think 2 or 3. They're pretty new. In third place, Tule Creek in fourth place. 2 Birds, Chris Wheeler. They're usually at the top.
Yep.
Came in fifth place, right? And then right now, Old Farts Fishing. I'm like, woohoo! We came in sixth. But when you come in 6 out of 8 people that turn in fish,
fish. Yeah.
How good is it? We have a lot of work to do.
You caught 2 fish. There's many teams that didn't.
We did. 2 Birds caught 2 fish. You got Bloody Knuckles, another new team. Hogfathers, they've been new to the scene last year, and they've won. I think they've been at the top on the leaderboard. I know on the podium, and here they are down in 8th place. So the messaging that I'm, kind of seeing all of this and looking at the statistics and being involved in the tournament scene for probably 3 to 4 years now, when I, first started doing this stuff, is a term, Eric said earlier, any given Sunday, we'll steal that, we'll quote that from a movie, whatever, but it's anybody's game, right? And you can be at the top, you can be at the bottom. There's a lot of people speculating when you see teams like Sippy Cup that are always, competitive, they're always relevant, they're out of town, they come, they pre-fish, they do, and then people go, well, why are they always at the top? Well, they're not always at the top. They're at the top a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. But there's times, if you look back at the standings, where they've been down, the leaderboard. Yeah. So it's just a matter is, a lot of it is luck, A lot of it is, there's a lot of speculation, people saying there's cheaters, there's this and that. And I've never seen anybody prove or given us solid evidence or somebody caught red-handed cheating. Mm. And I think that element is small. I think that no matter what you do, whatever organization you're in, whether it's NASCAR, cooking, I watch these cooking shows with my wife, but anything that involves a competition, there's an element of people that want to cheat because there's money involved.
Yeah.
So as a tournament director and his team, we do our best to weed that out. We put in rules in place. And the longer we do this, kind of like my own business, when we have terms and conditions, the more we do this, the more we learn. Guess what? Those terms and conditions get longer. Those rules get longer because things come up. We're like, you know what? We don't like that, or that shouldn't be fair, or give you an unfair advantage. So we start putting rules in place to keep it a level playing field. And that pisses some people off. And sometimes they don't like the rules. But I'm getting to a point in these things that what, you know what? We put on these things. We're putting things in place for reasons. And when we put those things in place, if you don't like them, you have a choice.
Yes.
You either fish it
Yes,
or
you do.
you don't, right?
Yep. And one of the things my wife said about these tournaments are, you're not making a living at this catfishing, so
No.
get out and have fun.
Yes. It's the camaraderie. It's what we do. And yeah, there's some money. If you're fishing these tournaments with the whole mindset that you're going to win, or that's your motivation, I'm telling you now, it's the wrong motivation.
Yep.
Winning is nice. Everybody likes to win, but at least I can only speak for myself and a few of the people that I know I've been talking to and asking questions is you do it because you enjoy fishing, you enjoy hanging around with like-minded people, you enjoy the camaraderie, you love the competition. When I started fishing with you, we compete.
Yes.
When it comes to game time and it's fishing, we're competing. But outside of that, we're doing this. We're fishing together. We're having a good time. And I didn't know you from Adam a year ago.
No.
I met you, with a phone call off my web page or my Facebook page about, hey, I'm at Clear Lake. I need help. And I gave you a few tips. And I'd never imagined a year later or less, here we are doing a podcast. So you never know who you're going to meet and where it's going to go.
Exactly.
But the more you hang around good people, that's what happens.
Exactly.
So Jake's doing a great job. We're
so.
trying to keep the element that we want in this. And there's been a few examples made of people that if you act up, you're gone. We don't want you there. And it's not a personal decision. It's a decision that is hard to make. But when it's made, it's made. And we move forward. But we want to create a good environment that's a family-friendly environment for everybody to have a good time and do what we love to do.
Yep. Especially when you got teams that have their children on the team with them.
True, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a family thing. We want that in there, and that's why we put these rules in. So hopefully we don't get to a point where we've got a Bible that's 100 pages of rules, because all that means is that we've had a lot of people we had to make some changes for.
Yes.
So before I continue, I feel like I've just been talking and talking and talking. I know there's a lot of, I don't know how many people's online. But anybody have any comments, things they want to share about the bash? And what I'm looking for is, we're not looking for a bitch session. Is we want positive comments. We want to know things that went well. Anything that didn't go well, we're pretty much aware of. But we want you to bring that up to Jake and I separately, private message, email, messenger, whatever it is. We want to keep it positive. So if you got something positive you want to share with us about what you liked, and we don't want to hear it now. If you didn't like it, we're not saying we don't want to hear it. We just don't want to hear it here.
Exactly.
But we do want to hear it.
I think it was a very good experience for a lot of guys, and even though we didn't catch any fish, I contribute that. I'm actually contributing that to my decisions. We had a guy that was out there who knew the lake, and I just didn't. For me personally, as the captain, I didn't give him enough free rein. He knows where he goes and how he catches the fish, and there was a place we started way back in the back, and we came out of there. We should have went back because the next day he went out there and caught. I think he's on his live. He did a little short. He caught, I think it was like an 8-pounder and a 4-pounder in the back there. Yeah, and first I was like, dude, why'd you even send me that? But all around, and I was talking to.
Richard, it's okay. Just blame me for it, and I'm going to wear that in a suit on Stoney's boat
Oh, great.
next time.
Yeah, and Eric, was we were contemplating back there. We were mulling over, and I made the decision to go back there first instead of last because you can't go back there with you can't come out with your engine. I didn't want to be late, so I said let's do it first, and we should have went back there last, and I didn't go back. So I'm kicking myself, but once again, it's a learning experience. And I was talking to Steve with Bass Lane Bangers, and what it did was we really had to change up everything that we did at Clear Lake. I didn't even bring a hook and big rod. I didn't bring a big rod. You did. I didn't have a float. I didn't. All that changed, and that's what these tournaments are about. People, Clear Lake will spoil you. It
Oh,
will
yeah.
spoil you. And lakes like this, I don't even call it a humble. I call it a reset because every place isn't the same, and it
Back to
just
basics.
gives you an element. Now, the only bad part is we're probably not going to go back there. Which now I'm like, damn it, this is my chance to, to really make some different decisions. But we'll do that with
So,
everywhere we go. I haven't been to Collins Lake in, gosh, 20 years. So if that's where it's going, once again, it's another learning experience. So shout out to Jacob for making the decision and making the choice and sticking with it.
Absolutely.
And it actually came out. It was. I like the setup. He well organized. It's just getting better and better and better. So shout out to him.
yeah, so with that, Richard, what I'm thinking is, Jake kind of said we're not going to go back there, right? A lot of people didn't catch fish, but there's a part of me, a huge part of me that says I want to go back.
I do too.
I
wanna
do.
catch
You do
fish.
too. You didn't even go.
I want to catch a fish off that lake, though. I did pre-fish
Look at
it.
Anthony. Anthony's like, no. Yeah,
No, but you know what I'm saying
yeah.
is
But who wants participation trophies? We got participation trophies for anyone out there who wants a participation trophy for a tournament.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't mind going back out there. It to me with going home with no fish, that drive felt like it was 12 hours. I didn't get home till 10 o'clock,
yeah,
and I was
no.
exhausted, and I slept until 7 a.m. the next day. I did not. My eyes never opened. So it was a challenge, but that's what we out here for. We're out here to fish and experience new things, and I would do it again. I would.
And so what I'm going to urge, Jake to do, and he'll see this later. I know he's working right now and couldn't make it. His schedule is all over the place, but I'm going to ask him to just, maybe reach out to people and see what their thoughts are. And if you got enough people that want to go back and kind of redeem themselves and have another crack at it, all I would do is ask them to consider it, right?
Yeah.
Because guarantee you, we go to another lake that's not Clear Lake, it's going to be a whole nother to do. All right.
Yep.
You're gonna have to figure. I mean, everybody's gonna have to figure it out. At least everybody that fished it, whether you caught fish or didn't, you at least have that much experience,
Yeah.
which could be more than wherever we decide to take it to. So be careful of. It's kind of like I'd rather to know what is that saying about to know the devil you know versus the one you don't know.
Mhm.
I forget how that saying goes, but you know what I'm saying is
Yeah.
we know what we're getting into. We just do better.
Do better.
Do better.
So isn't
But
Collins
anyway,
Lake even smaller isn't Collins Lake smaller than Mendocino?
absolutely, it's probably half.
Yeah.
It's even
Yeah.
smaller.
So
And personally, I hate Collins Lake. And Anthony can attest. We go there and we don't catch a lot of fish.
That's the one up there in Brownsville.
off of
Yeah.
70, way up there.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Good trout
I
lake.
seen a guy catch a 30-pound catfish there at Collins.
Yeah, and Warren and I believe that it wasn't me, and I don't think I've caught 8 catfish yet. I mean, dude, I'll go to. So here's how bad it is for me at Collins. I can go there with a bunch of weed, and I won't even catch a buzz.
That's
That's
wow.
how bad. I can't even catch a buzz while I'm out there. So
Damn lake sobering.
very,
I
very.
caught some
So
nice bass and trout out there, but it was decades ago that I've been out there.
but it's so at the end of the day, I'm going to support whatever Jake decides he wants to do because that's what my job is to support and make things function, and we'll we'll get it going. So yeah, we'll see what October brings. Hopefully the weather's going to cooperate with us. And I got one other topic I'm going to jump to real quick here soon. Is if there anybody else have any comments on the bash they want to bring up? Eric, how many people we got? 5?
We got about 12 participants.
Dang, we're going up.
Technically
Look at your face that's bringing people
I
here.
just gotta say, for me,
You do have a
yes,
nice face, Darren.
thank you.
We're just
I
here
did-
for Darren.
We didn't make it up there to Mendocino to fish for the tournament, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, I didn't have to show up to beat Stoney. Me and him caught the same amount of fish with me sitting at home.
Now, okay. So that leads me to Darren was feeling much better after the tournament. In fact, I got a call saying, "Hey man, I'm feeling good. Are you guys still staying up there to go fish Clear Lake Sunday?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "We're gonna come out." And I'm like, "So you won't come out for the tournament, but you feel good enough to go out on Sunday?"
Had
So he
himself
shows
a miracle.
Right, miracle. I'm like, I'm healed. Yay! Tournament's over. I feel better. So we go out on Sunday, and I have a video coming out, which will probably come out on Wednesday because I'll be filming tomorrow. But the video from the bash is already out, so I put that out there. It's like a 4-minute video, 4.5-minute video. So if you check that out on YouTube, it's out there. I haven't put it on Facebook yet. But what we learned was that so Darren came out, and it's just it's him and his wife and me and Anthony. We're gonna have a friendly little competition, just the two of us, and it was just one fish. Well, it turned into being 2 fish because it was somehow came into this isn't a Sift and Old Farts rivalry.
Yep.
It's a Darren and Stoney versus Tamara and Anthony rivalry.
Yep.
Is what it ended up turning into. So we're like, we'll bring it. I'm feeling confident. We caught 2 fish yesterday. It could only get better. And so we fished literally. And there's a purpose I'm telling this story.
Yes.
We fished side by side pretty much all day. I mean, literally like at times 5 feet apart, dragging.
Yeah.
And then other parts we were in the same body of water, might have been 100 yards away, but we were close enough back and forth, and our lines weren't always exact, a little off. And after we hit all the spots we hit, we go to weigh in. We just pull scale out. We're going to use the same scale. Darren and Tamara caught 6 fish that day. The bite's been a little off at Clear Lake for some people, but they caught 6 fish. We caught 1. Now, we're using the same bait. We're using the same gear. We're fishing the same water. We're fishing the same time. All the variables are there. The only difference is we're not on the exact same line. He's a little shallower, I'm a little deeper, or vice versa, as we changed it up. The moral of the story that I'm kind of laying out is you can do everything exact, and those fish aren't going to hit, or they will, right? And so
no matter if there's a boat 10 feet from you or not.
Right. And so what happens is a lot of these guys, they get wrapped up in a lot of these other dynamics that go on. At the end of the day, you can do everything right, and you're either going to be on a winning streak or you're not. And we just proved that yesterday. With everything equal, they still outfished us.
And it wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard.
He's got a camera though, so he's already got an advantage.
Yeah.
So, but I mean that's the thing that I'm just getting at. It's competition. It's fun. We have a good time doing it, and I just enjoy it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what else you want to talk about on that? You good?
I'm good. I enjoyed it. I got to say though, just me and my wife started these tournaments about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and I've met a lot of great people. I've met a lot of really nice people, a lot of people that know their stuff, and we're always learning. And we go to have fun. I may get frustrated. I may have a short temper sometimes on the boat because things aren't going my way, but at the end of the day, I'm still outside. I'm still having fun. And I'm still hanging around people that are like-minded and enjoy it. If you get too serious about it, then it's no fun anymore.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. And
we have a raised hand from iPhone.
Who
Yes.
we got?
It's me, Darren.
Darren, what's up, buddy?
With the bloody knuckles. Hey, I just wanted to offer input that I liked the Mendocino change. And I'm really excited about this bash thing. I know I've only been to a couple of them, but it's really been pretty awesome. I'm competitive by nature, so having to adapt like we did in Mendocino, even though I only got one fish, at least I got one fish.
Yep.
But I agree, the camaraderie and everything that comes with this little derby is pretty fun. It's new to me, but I really like it. And this shootout for the top 10 is right up my alley. I'm locked in for all 10 of them.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump to that here shortly, because I'm glad you brought that up. And you're the guy with the pontoon boat was fishing with your wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
that was cool. This is what I really like about this thing, and I so wish, and nothing against Anthony, I so wish my wife would fish, right?
Mhm.
Because I got you and your wife fishing. I got Team Sippy Cup, and then we got the Bloody Knuckles, and
Mhm.
so I'm seeing, and then yeah, Chris Wheeler and his wife, and I love the husband and wife's team, and it's almost like I feel like if we get enough husband and wife's team, there could be a whole nother like little category that you can have,
I still think we need to have a little side tournament with just the women fish against each other.
But that would be,
I think that'd be awesome.
right. So just a lot of things and that's the beauty of what Jake's doing is we don't have to follow anybody's rules. We're going to follow our own rules and make up our things as we go along. We're going to try some things out. They're either going to work or they're not.
Yep.
And if they work, we'll do them again. If they don't, we'll try something different. We want to keep it interesting. We don't want to keep it the same old thing every time, but have some structure and some formula that works. So we love everybody that's along for the ride and what we're doing, and really appreciate the support. And like I said kind of earlier, not to put a cloud over anything, but if you're not with the program and you're not along with what this agenda is, with a family friendly, everybody get along, let's have a good time, we'll find a way to just ask you to go away.
Yep.
So
So we have Ken saying, pick me, pick me, pick me.
Ken.
LOL.
Oh, gotta get Ken. Yes, sir. We love Ken. So a lot of people don't know about Ken is Ken and I talk quite a bit on a lot of the things that come up, and he's a very knowledgeable man. He's been around a little bit, and he is somebody I confide in a lot of times when I'm looking for, hey Ken, what do you think of this? And so Ken, I'm glad you want to say me. What's up?
So, one thing I would like to say is I hope you guys really go back to Messino in October.
To go back where?
Mendocino.
Mendocino?
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely flood Jake's messenger or text messages with your opinion of yes Mendocino, no Mendocino, and then we'll have a conversation. He'll probably be going, I'm at work. What the hell's my phone blowing up for with this Mendocino thing? What did you do, Stoney?
Set him up.
The reason why I want you guys to fish it is because I know that lake. I know that lake very well, and if I'm in the top 10, there's not too many people at fishing Lake Messino that will bump me.
Well, you're a really good fisherman, Ken. I give you that, but I look at the Clear Lake standings and I don't know.
We were 8th place. I wasn't able to fish, and I dropped 2 spots at Lake Messino. So the problem with Lake Messino is even if you got a good bag, you're only going to hit that 16, maybe 20 if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
So if you're going in the last term before the championship, enough pounds ahead, you don't have to fish that one. Because, like I said, it's just unfortunately that lake's full of stripers, and that in change means no catfish.
Well, we couldn't even catch a striper, so I'm not sure there's a lot of striper in there either. We tried.
Yeah.
Well, again, I take that, take what I say with a grain of salt because it is Team Old Farts, and we don't put any fish in the boat anyway, so it don't matter.
Well, you have too many irons in the fire. That's your issue.
No, I just need another Facebook page created, I think. I counted, I have like 15 Facebook pages.
Man.
Well, we start doing the live feeds again. I'll tell everybody to join all your pages.
Well, I still have pages. Some of them are better than others, and I'm really diving into more fishing than anything else. And most of my things I'm doing, are supporting other people, which you'll find that that's what we do. It's not always about me. It's about a kind of a brand in what we're doing, and that's why you see me working with Kevin Brock. You'll see me working with Golden State Sport Fishing.
Driving with Stony Stone has over 1 million views.
Driving with Stony Stone, which is funny because it's not even my footage. It's really driving with Eric because I send him everywhere, but it's something I created. And it's, Eric's taking it to the next level. I think we're actually making money on that now. I think we made a whole $1.50 last month. So it's getting there. It starts out with $1.50.
But I do want to say congratulations to everybody who fished it and everybody who brought in fish.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Ken. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And, Ken's a really great guy that I definitely like to I'm really glad to know him, even though he tried to sell me a boat at ISE that would have probably ended up in divorce.
You would have caught fish, though.
I don't know about that. Hey, I would look good doing it. Let's just put it that way. I don't know.
I guarantee every boat I sell, I guarantee you catch fish in it.
Okay. Well, we'll talk in this ISE show.
It might not be a big fish, but it's a fish.
That's true. Anything else on the last tournament before I get into championship stuff? Anybody? Eric online? We're good?
Let me check.
No?
I want to see what Happy Hookers had to say about last weekend.
Who's on from Happy Hookers? Anybody?
What's going on, guys?
Who's that, Zach, or is it
Sonny?
Sonny, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? No, last weekend was a good tournament.
Yeah, and I don't think you guys even put fish in, though, did you?
No, we ended up not catching, but I mean, all in all, it was a good tournament. We were out there, had a good time, got bored, ran the boat around the lake a few times, and then fished some more. So all in all, we had a great time.
You didn't bring a wakeboard, did you?
we were thinking about it. We're like, damn, we should have brought a tube.
Well, it's funny. I don't know how many people looked at my boat when we were sitting there on the shore, but there was 2 rods on the boat that still had striper deep divers on it from when we went striper fishing, and I didn't take them off. I just threw them on the boat, and I was thinking, I wonder if anybody notices that we have deep divers on. It's like, they're gonna deep divers used for catfish. Hey, who knows? Could happen.
Hey, you never know. They do.
But it was good to see Jake finally win a tournament.
Yeah, we'll give him the little one with his 15-pound fish, a bag of 15 pounds. So, hey, a win is a win. The money's still the same. So,
yep.
Yeah, we'll give that one to Jake. He works hard.
Yeah.
No, Sonny,
He's gonna
appreciate
have to
you.
earn the next one though.
Oh yeah.
No problem, guys.
At least we know he knows how to catch fish.
Right.
Yep.
This is true.
Yep.
So, anybody else? Any comments they want to share? See, I like this format, right?
Yeah.
The live feed I did, it's just more one-dimensional. It's just us talking up here, and people can't interact, and that's why I made the format. And I think as we get through it, people will figure out it's not that hard to hit a button and hit another button, and you're in.
Yeah,
It's just,
for sure.
but we're getting there. So appreciate you guys definitely calling in. It's definitely headed the right direction. So you guys is what's going to make this successful is the interaction we have.
Yes.
So thank you.
And
Sonny.
I'm where I want to be.
Yeah, Eric's not on camera anymore. We don't have to hear what the F's on Eric's mind. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. We're gonna keep rolling.
Good.
All right. So championship status. I posted where we are as of now with 2 tournaments under our belts. And again, when I look at the numbers, it's kind of interesting. I'm probably not going to go through all of them. Don't want to bore everybody, but there are some things to kind of point out. So if I look at Tule Creek, who's currently the #1 slot for the championship, last time they came in, 2nd place. This time they came in 4th place. So they're in the top 5, but the weights is what's kind of differentiate kind of where you land. You got Alley Cats, with Daniel Kellogg. Those guys are pretty consistent. The 4th and 3rd place.
Daniel Kellogg in there?
They took a third place with 12.83 pounds. Snag 'em and bag 'em. Kevin Williams. Those guys were down in like sixth place, and now they're sitting there at second place in the tournament. Whisker Getters with it, David Mayo. That's the Warren and David. Those guys first place last tournament, but those guys are a well-rounded team, meaning they don't just fish catfish. This is a team that came into it, fished their very first catfish tournament, and took first place.
Yeah.
So again, this is I go back, teams that are like, well, the leaderboard's always the same. It's not the same. These guys took first place and never fished a catfish tournament.
Nope.
What did they do
did
different?
Very well at their first place.
Right, and it's like they took their fishing knowledge, applied it to catfishing, and said, yeah, we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they were kokanee fishing that weekend, and they had a choice. I can do kokanee or I can do this. And they're like, you know what? Let's go do what they know how to do. And Warren, you still on? How did you guys do in that kokanee thing? Or David?
Oh, well, we sucked. We ended up in
Watching Stoney.
36th place.
36 out of how many?
I think there's 57 or 59 teams.
Well, that's still not bad. I mean,
top 40.
You were in the middle.
I didn't, and I never pre-fished. I just, I fished bullards so much. I just, I didn't have time to pre-fish, and we just went fishing. But we did get second place for biggest trout.
Oh, there you go.
So we got $100 deal. So
hey, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna look. So Darren, you guys are in for the next tournament, right?
Yeah, I just filled out the form. So.
Yeah, so if I'm trying to look here now, is we just opened up registration at 6 o'clock.
On Facebook, or where did we go?
It's on Facebook, so
it's
on the Catfish Bash page. Okay. It's on the event page. I shared it to a couple other pages, and it was probably like 6:10. I missed it by a little bit, but what I'm surprised with, this is what happened last time, right? So the Bash at Mendocino, we basically filled up those spots within a week. And then after the first week or two, nobody registered. And I think it was because it's Mendocino. But looking at it right now, we're not even 8 o'clock yet. So 6, less than 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. We've got 7 teams already registered.
Where we're going?
Yep. But you can click this link too. At the top, yep.
Boom.
So soon we're gonna have 8 teams registered, and I was gonna wait 24 hours before I registered because I wanted to wait for some teams. But you know what? I see 7 teams registered. I'm gonna go register now. What I'm gonna do is, just because we have 8 teams, 9 teams registered, doesn't mean that's where you are registered. What gets you locked in is when we get the money.
Yep.
Once I get the money, that's where I put your boat number in. So don't worry, everybody's on the equal playing field right now because I haven't sent out any invoices. We have your registration, it's there. Based on my schedule, I probably won't get invoices out till tomorrow night or Wednesday, but I will let everybody know when they're going out. As soon as you see that invoice come across, you want to pay it, and that's what's going to get you locked into your position. So boat numbers will be based on completing the registration, which is fill out the form, pay the money, and then you're locked in. So I will wait 24 hours afterwards because I don't want people to accuse Old Farts Fishing of always being in the top because we control when it goes out. So trying to be fair, not that doesn't make a difference. We don't do well in tournaments anyway. So whether I'm 10th or 1st, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if people are following you out, they've already lost for the tournament.
I can agree. So it's back on the championship status. So we're going through there. So Warren, those guys, are up. They're like 4th and going in. Jake went from 13th place to 1st place win, but the weights weren't there, but it was enough to put him in
all right
5th place as far as transferring. Then you got Snag and Whiskers, who again they didn't even fish Mendocino, no entry, and they're still sitting at 6th place because they were in 3rd the last tournament. Two Birds, finished 9th place and then they finished a 5th place, and they're sitting at 7th. You got Whisker Fish, which is Herb. You know, Herb has the lake record at Clear Lake. Great guides, lives out there. He's truly an old fart.
Yes.
And he took 5th during the bash. And this is a guy who lives on the lake. And this is what I try to tell a lot of these guys. If I look at the first bash, you got Warren's team coming in, never fishing the lake, brand new person to the team, ends up taking 1st place. You got Herb, who lives on the lake, who's been a guide out there for who knows how long, and they come in, 5th. I mean, they're still in the top 5, but they have so much knowledge. But again, it goes down to, are the fish going to bite or not? And he has no
Anybody's
entry.
game.
Yeah, and he didn't enter, but he's still at 8th place. And then you got John Hayes, with Catfish Posse, that is 7th. They're in 9th, at the 9th slot, and they didn't enter. And then you got Real Addiction with Matt. It was in 8th place last time with no entry, and they're still in the top 10. So the rest of the list is up there. But even on this list, Sift is still above us by a lot. But it's going to be five wild cards thrown into that. So all of the rest of the teams, that have entered a tournament, will get potentially selected to go in. Now, one of the questions I've heard on the wild card is the teams that have fished most of the tournaments, I feel, should get more entries. So I would say the way that I think it should be fair, and again, this is me just talking to myself, is if I look at this list as it stands, if I take all the teams here, when you get to the 11th team that didn't transfer, I'll look at how many tournaments they entered. So if they entered every tournament, they'll get an entry into the draw for every tournament they fished. So if
Even if they didn't show?
we'll have to discuss some of the dynamics.
Because I did enter.
And you did pay.
I'm
So
contesting that right now.
I would say if you entered and you paid, whether you showed up or not, you still paid. You get so Darren would be sitting with 2 entries into the wild card. So if you fish every tournament, there's 5 tournaments, and then the championship. If you fished 5 tournaments, you'll get 5 entries, and then we'll draw the 5 wild card. And if your name gets drawn twice, it gets thrown back, and you draw another name. That's what I'm proposing. It's not set in stone, but that's how I think would be the fairest way to do it. Is because there's going to be guys that only fish 1 tournament and think they're just going to get a transfer.
Right.
They could, though.
They could.
Because it's it's almost like it's a draft. It's like what am I trying to? A raffle, right? Yeah. The more raffle tickets you have, the more chances you're gonna win. But there's that guy that bought 1 raffle ticket who won the car. Mm-hmm. You're like,
yep.
Yep. So it's anybody. I think that's the fairest way to do it. Is just all I'm saying. And Jake and I will work those details out. But I have a feeling that's the direction we're gonna go.
Yeah.
All right.
You should have 8 entries now.
We should have 8 entries. Darren just threw his in. I better get off this podcast and get some entries in. But what I'm really liking is that, it used to be we'd struggle for entries all the way up until like the last minute. And it was like a week before. And we're going, man, how big is this tournament going to be? We're going to have 6 boats. And now here it is. In 2 hours, we've got 8 teams registered. So it just tells me we're doing something right. What that is, I don't know. Just do better.
Hey, it's do better and it keeps getting better.
Yes, sir. All right. So, a minute with Stony Stone. We're going to wrap this up here shortly. We are getting close to the top of the hour, but I do have a guest schedule with a new format. Brandon LeBoy was our very first guest that came on. Brandon, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. And then next week, we got Richard Mutri is going to be a guest. He's going to be our star guest. Going to give him a lot more time. It'll be less of me talking and more of him talking. He's had a pretty big agenda with Kings of Clear Lake. And anything else Richard wants to talk about, we're going to let him talk about.
Nice.
And then after that, we go kind of week to week to week. Not that I'll go through. Well, maybe I will. I got time. Kevin Brock definitely will be on, talking about what he's got going with striper fishing and his new venture out in the tackle box in Chico. But I'll have him on as a guest. And he does have his own podcast that I host for him on Thursdays. So if you guys aren't busy on Thursday, definitely go out there, and it's on his Facebook page under Fish Kevin Brock. It's a link very similar to this one. The only difference is I don't have Eric on Thursday, so it's just a single camera, and then because of the distance, Kevin is wherever he is. It could be at a campground, could be at his house, could be wherever. But Kevin makes the effort to call in because Kevin goes to where the fish are.
Yep.
So right now he's living out in Calusa for about 45 days chasing the striper. And then I think after that is over, we'll probably be moving up to Gold Beach, doing the Oregon thing, and I'll be going out there to film with him. A lot going out with Kevin. Matt, Snag 'em and Bag 'em. Most of you guys know Matt. He's a big sponsor. He's got some teams out there. We're part of the Snag 'em and Bag 'em team as well. And, pro staff for Snag 'em. He'll be joining us on the 28th. I got Johnson's Bait and Tackle. Brian Willits is going to come on and talk about what's going on in the shop there. And Amazing Fishing, another sponsor for Old Farts Fishing, with that Triple X blood and a lot of the scents that they provide. We're going to have him on talking about what he says is the world's strongest fish attractant. And he may have something. There's a lot of people that use different scents, and we use it and it works. So can't knock it. Is there other stuff out there better? Maybe, but we find it works for us.
We won't go off the record.
On the 5/19, you got Rob Stoddard with Stoddard Guide Service. Another guide we support. We do a few videos for him a year, and definitely get you out on the striper. And we just recently released a video with him. And then I got Warren out here, fisherman, content creator. If you haven't checked out Warren, what's the name of your page? Is it just your name, or is there? I don't even remember. And I follow you as well, but
it's Warren Fredrickson Outdoors.
Outdoors. Okay, I knew there was something in there, but definitely get follow his YouTube page, help his followers. Not that he needs anymore. He's got a ton. He's doing great. Love watching his videos. But we're gonna get Warren on, and at some point I'm definitely gonna get on his boat and go do some maybe kokanee fishing or something. But then we got Chris Wheeler coming on. We'll probably be talking about Operation Vets with Nets and some of the things that he does. And then on 6/9, it's kind of an important one on 6/9 because I got James Stone from NorCal Guides and Sportsmen Association is going to come out, and he's telling me somewhere around that time period. I think it's either a week or two before this, or could be a week after. I don't remember exactly, but there is some discussion about salmon fishing. Some announcement that's going to come out, and I think it's going to open up some ocean fishing in California for a limited time that they're hoping will trickle down into having some of the river open up as well. But I have a feeling it's going to be for a limited time. Like, these guys where they open up for a week.
Yep.
And I'm just going to say, if they do that and they open this up for a week, say on the rivers, it's going to be a shit show of boats. It's going to be like Gold Beach, but here on the Sacramento River.
With a bunch of guys that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Exactly. And if you guys have ever been to Gold Beach, I'm just amazed. Go to my YouTube page.
Look for the ballet out there.
Go to the Gold Beach, Kevin Brock video where we filmed out there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You're literally side by side. And what amazed me is these guys make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one or two instances where somebody got a little hot-headed or stuff, but dude, it's like a ballet. Like you said, the rods, they move them over so you can squeeze by, and it's interesting when somebody hooks up on a salmon and they're like yelling, "Fish on!" Right? The other guides pull their rods out, pull their lines up.
Yeah.
So the guy can fight the fish, get it in, and as soon as that fish is netted, boom, all those lines go back in. But it's like an orchestra, and I guarantee you that won't happen out here on the river.
No.
You're going to have people yelling at each other, cussing each other out, and, I'm just a kid, get off my boat. I'm the best tarpon fisherman there is. Crazy stuff like that's going to happen. So have your cameras ready.
Yep.
Got Daniel Fountain. Everybody knows Daniel, Hook 'em Big. We talk about what he's got going on. And that's on the 16th. I got James Powers with NorCal Tradition Sport Fishing, another guide out there, a new guide, struggling to get his name out there. And, he's a new guy that's doing it part-time. But a lot of these guys can't jump in head first and just say, I'm going to be a captain and I'm going to do this and quit everything they're doing. It takes time to build your client base. And, We may talk a little bit about that. I've talked to James. We filmed. I've seen some of his struggles, and it'll be kind of cool to talk to him and see what's going on. And then on 6:30 will be the first podcast after the next bash. I think 6:28 is the bash. So that one will be dedicated to talking about how to go, what happened with the bash. You guys may not know Rudy Devine runs Rudy's Trophy Catch Guide Service. Does a lot out of Folsom, which may not be it for 30 days. But I know he goes to a lot of the different lakes. He goes to Orville. I know he moved closer into the Yuba City area from where he was before, and I have a feeling he's doing a lot of the river stuff and learning that. But Anthony and I have been out with him a couple times on Folsom, chasing some of the landlocked salmon and trout there. Then I got Johnny and Jessica of J&J Tackle Company. I don't know if you've followed them on Facebook, but they make a lot of flashers, a lot of trout and kokanee stuff are going to be coming on. Okay. And then I even got people like Derek at Hartle, right? He's a fisherman. That's all I know about him. He's new to the catfish scene. He's skunked both tournaments that he's been in. I know he works at Bass Pro, but I know he's an avid fisherman, and we've talked a little bit and got him on. So you don't have to be a tackle shop. You don't have to be a guide. You just have to be somebody who likes fishing. So you want to get on the podcast and share some information and be a guest, let us know. As this list gets longer, which I'm booked all the way out to July 21st, I may start pulling people in and double them up. Give them 5 or 10 minutes, and then maybe have 2 or 3 guests on at a time. If it gets to be that interesting and people are like, I really like where this is going, I want to be part of the podcast. So if I haven't reached out to you, it's not that I don't want you on the podcast. It just means there's a lot going on, but I do want you on the podcast. Yes, I do, definitely. So reach out. I'm not a person that's going to chase you. What I've learned in my professional life and what I do is if people want something, they're going to ask. Mm-hmm. If I chase them and force it on them, say, hey, I want you to do this, they're not committed to do it.
Well, especially if Stoney chases them.
So anyway, that's where we are. You got the guest list. You got the scoop. We're at the top of the hour. I appreciate everybody for calling in to the podcast. And give me your feedback. Send us a note. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Please. Do you like the new format? Do you want me to bring Eric back to be on camera with me? Or do you like the handsome guy?
Throw it out there. What is it? JDB.
JDB.
Just do better.
Just do better. That's the man. I think I'm going to get some shirts that say JDB, just do better, Old Farts Fishing. There it is. Guys, enjoy your night. And hopefully I'll hear you, see you, be part of Kevin's podcast on Thursday. And good luck fishing this week and the weekend. And I think we are switching gears this weekend to striper fishing.
Yep.
So Sunday, Anthony and I will probably be out either in... Oh, actually, I lied. This weekend is the NorCal Guides and Sportsmen's Association Derby. Striper Derby. So Anthony and I are fishing that. We will be doing the Striper Derby. So my fishing report is going to be about the Striper Derby and how we do. We're fishing Saturday and Sunday. We won't know the slot limit until they announce it, and I think there's a different slot on each day. Okay. And that's nice with that is there's no target weight. There's no I have to get the biggest fish or the most weight. You're going into this blind. They're going to draw a number that says the target length is 26 inches, 27, whatever it is. And you got to, you can put a ton of fish in the boat, but if you don't have the right length, and
not going to do nothing for you.
It hurts when you're 9/16 from winning $10,000. So Anthony and I fished a tournament. First place was, I think it was 10 grand. And we were 9/16 too big.
Oh, man. And you never heard that again in your life?
Never. On that note, we'll see you next week. Team Sift knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Tight lines, everybody. We will see you next week. And thanks for calling in.
Stay safe.